bonkers comedy clubs set up all these new comedy clubs at different locations. So, for example, I set one up at the MGM Grand or the MGM Casino in Detroit. I set one up at the Palace Station Casino in Las Vegas, which is where O.J. Simpson allegedly, or I guess didn't allegedly, I guess O.J. Simpson robbed that guy and got arrested for it. So, when that happened, I did not have a safety net. I didn't have money in the bank. I didn't have anything. All I had was bills coming up, and it was a scary time. So I had to kind of take this mentality where basically there's things I can control and there's things that I cannot control. And the things that I can't control, I'm not even going to worry about it because I cannot control them. And that's what you have to understand right now. There's things that you cannot control. You cannot control the fact that, searches are down for DUI attorney or family law attorney or personal injury attorney. You can't control that. You can't make people go out and start searching for those things right now. But what can you control? And that's what you need to be focusing on. You need to be focusing on what you can control. And the things that you can control are what you do. So what I want to do right now is I want to give you a little bit of training and I don't want this to be the end all. Like I want you to take this training and I want you to build on this training, and I want this training to kind of get you to start thinking about how can you take this opportunity so that and look at it as an opportunity. You don't there's lots of ways to look at these things. There's the sky is falling. There's a scam. You can look at it as the sky is falling. You look at it as a scam. You can look at it as whatever it is. Whether you're in the camp of this is real or this is fake, it doesn't matter. It's going to impact you. So, you have to understand there's an opportunity here. And basically, if you take this training that I'm going to show you, it will absolutely benefit you when this thing ends, and it will end. We're already starting to see in China, the supply chain is turning back on in China. I think just yesterday they announced there was no new cases in China. China's about 3 months ahead of us. So basically what that means is that we're going to have to kind of weather this storm for about 3 months. And it's funny because what I think about every time, I've been thinking about this entire time is the movie Forrest Gump. I don't know if you've ever seen the movie Forrest Gump. It's a really good movie. If you haven't seen it, I'm sure it's on Netflix and you probably have time to watch it right now. So, but in Forrest Gump, there's a scene where Forrest and Lieutenant Dan have a shrimping boat, the Bubba Gump shrimp company or whatever it's called, and basically they're out there and there's all these other shrimp boats also, and Forrest and Lieutenant Dan, they're out there, they're trying to do shrimp, and they're not catching anything, and they go on, they're not having much success, but they kind of stick with it, and then all of a sudden this huge hurricane comes, and for whatever reason, they went out and they continued fishing, they continued shrimping during this hurricane, and they weathered the storm, and they went through it, and they took it on head on. It was scary, it was crazy, but at the end, all the competition was gone, and they eventually became billionaires because they weathered the storm, they kept going, they didn't panic. And what ended up happening is all their competition got wiped out. Now, obviously, that's a movie. Obviously, you guys are lawyers, not shrimp boat captains. But there's a good metaphor there. If you guys can weather the storm, which you can weather the storm, it's going to be scary. It's going to be crazy at times, but you absolutely can weather the storm. And if the choices that you make while you're going through it are going to directly impact what happens on the other side of it. So, the first thing that you need to do is not panic. You need to understand that there's things that you can control, there's things that you can't control, and the things that you can control are the things that you should be working on. So there's always opportunities in these types of situations. There's so many companies that are actually formed in the recession. I actually wrote some of them down. CNN, Hewlett-Packard, IBM, FedEx, General Motors, all of those companies were formed during a recession. So there's always opportunity. That money's not gone. You just have to figure out what are some of the different ways. You've got to be a little creative, and you've got to figure out what are the different ways that I'm going to get my message out to people, and what are the ways that I'm going to get in front of people so that I can have stuff come through and start flowing to me. So one of the things that I think that so basically when it comes to marketing this thing, you have to rely on your assets, and your biggest asset right now that you have is right up here, the brain, the knowledge that you have in your brain right now. There are so many people that are out there that are just panicking. I'm sure you can go on your social media profile, you can go on Facebook, you can go on Instagram, you go anywhere, and you see people that are just panicking that the sky is falling. I'm going to lose all my money. My parents are sick and in a nursing home. we're going to be quarantined. They're coming for our guns. All those different types of things, right? So what you need to do is something that I call PSA Style Marketing. And PSA Style Marketing is basically, and actually, let me switch over here real quick. So, all right, so PSA marketing, how do you do it? Well, the core of PSA marketing is to provide help for people, is just to provide value. I was listening to a podcast the other day. It was a guy named Frank Kern. He's a marketing guy. I listened to a lot of his stuff, and one of the things that he was saying is that he was watching that Taylor Swift documentary that's on Netflix, and one of the comments that she made that, and everyone knows that Taylor Swift is huge. She's probably one of the biggest pop stars out there today. And one of the comments that she made when somebody asked her what was the secret to her success is the secret to her success is she worked really hard and she was really nice to people. That's basically what she says. And I think there's a lot of value to that. Now, working really hard is universal, but I think that you can be really nice to people, but also be very, very helpful. And if you think about why do people like you? They like, someone likes you because you provide value to them, usually, whether it's, they enjoy being around you. So you provide value by the fact that you improve the quality of their life. Maybe you're funny, so you provide, comedy or humor or entertainment, or you provide value because you're helpful. So it's the same thing. I mean, basically, PSA style marketing is designed to make people like you because you're helpful. And when people like you, that's when they hire you. So that's kind of what we're trying to do here. So the thing you have to do, and Social Firestarter clients, basically every day at 4:00, what I want to do is I'm going to do a open office hours, and we'll be able to sit down and we're going to do a Zoom call. Any client that wants help with this and wants kind of my personal guidance on this, every weekday, starting on March 20, what did I say? Whatever next Monday is, whatever this coming Monday is, I'm actually gonna, for an hour every single day, I'll help you brainstorm, help you come up with all this stuff so you guys can actually do this. But the first step is you have to figure out who is it, and let's see, why is my pen not working here? The first step is you have to figure out who are you talking to, because you need to talk to a specific type of person. Now the who should be your ideal clients, your future clients, basically anybody that is in the situation where they're going to need your services. So what you need to do is you need to figure out who are you talking to, because you can't talk to everybody. You've got to figure out who you're actually going to talk to. Now, the next thing that you need to do is you need to figure out what problems do they have right now and what fears do they have right now. Everybody's got lots of problems right now, and they have a lot of fears right now. And what you need to figure out is what advice can you give that can help them alleviate the problems or alleviate the fears, or maybe not alleviate, but actually give them some sort of information about what they're worried about or what the problem is that they're facing. Because you have to remember, like I said, your brain is the most powerful thing, the most important, most valuable asset that you have. You have a lot of information in there that most people do not have. You've got answers to a lot of questions that they don't know what the answers to are, and right now they're just kind of stuck, and they're watching social media, they're getting all kinds of fake news, all that type of stuff. So if you can create so basically if you can identify who you're targeting and then make a list of every single problem and every single fear that they are probably going through right now. Then what I want you to do, and this is where I might lose some people, but trust me, you have to do this. You need to create videos. You need to create videos that each one of these things, each problem, each fear should be an individual video with an answer and a solution or some sort of information that's going to provide them value. That's going to, if they watch that video, they should walk away with either something to do or you've got to provide value in some way. So basically, if you're creating these videos that are talking to your ideal clients, and these videos address a single problem or a single fear and help, and you provide valuable information, you provide value in these videos, then what will happen is people will start to look at you as someone that they like. Somebody that is providing really good information, and you can start getting your name out there and start continuing to grow your law firm while this is going on. Now, what I want you to do is I then want you to take these videos and I want you to post them on your personal profiles. You can also post on your business profile, but I want you to post it on your personal profile. Now, spelling profile wrong here. Why are we doing this? So, and by the way, also, if you really want to, these two things can be combined in a live video. You can do a Facebook Live if you want to. That's actually what I recommend. I think that's probably the best way to do that if you want to do steps 3 and 4 as a Facebook Live. But why are we posting these on your Facebook profile? Well, because this is PSA marketing. So these videos should not be ads. These videos should be taking the stance of, hey everyone, there's a lot of bad information out there right now. As you know, I'm an attorney and I want to give you the correct information so that we can reduce some of the panic and we can reduce some of the bad information out there. Now, many of you may be thinking XYZ. Well, let me tell you something. I'm an attorney. I know this stuff. I do this every single day. Here's the truth. And then basically what you want to do is you want to address their fear. So, you may be thinking whatever the fear is, and then, you give yourself a little bit of credibility, and then you talk about the truth, about kind of what's actually, what really is going on, and give them some sort of relief, give them some sort of answers, give them something. Now, like I said, these should not be ads. They should be PSAs. And what you want to do is you want to make sure that you're talking to the camera like you're talking to a friend. That is extremely important. Do not come off as one of these attorneys on TV who is basically saying, if you've been in a car accident, call me today. That is not the point of this. And that's why going on your personal profile is important, because what you want to do is you don't want to be coming across as kind of like the Cutco salesman, Like I don't know if you know what Cutco is. When I was in college, and I remember when I was in like middle school, my mom used to be a teacher, a high school teacher. So what would end up happening when I was in elementary school and middle school is her past students would go off to college, and then they would call her because she had a really good relationship with a lot of her students, and they would call her a couple months later and be like, hey, Miss Stickel, can I come by the house? I want to. I'm working for Cutco now, and I want to give you a presentation. And everybody had the same stupid presentation. But basically, Cutco's business model was that they would sell kids, college kids, this thing of basically, and actually I went to one of their sales presentations in terms of trying to recruit me to be a salesperson for them. And I have to say, it's pretty genius how they did it. But basically, what they do is they sell you a knife kit, and they're good knives, I think. But basically, what the strategy is they know that if they can get a college kid to sign up, that college kid will then go and buy a knife kit, and then they're going to go to all their friends and family, and then they're going to sell them knives, and then they're probably going to quit. Right? So like what you don't want to do is you don't want to just go to your friends and family and just start pitching them stuff, because that's annoying. Nobody likes that. Don't do that. But what is really helpful is if you go to your friends and family and you say, hey, listen, I'm an attorney. I'm going to talk to you about what's actually going on right now. That is really helpful, and that is something that people will relate to. Now, your friends and your family, if any of them are going through an issue that they would need your help, hopefully they would already call you. So this video is not actually for them. What's cool about social media is that if you provide value, and if somebody likes what you're trying to say, what you're saying, then they can click the little share button, and then they can share it with all of their friends. And then that is how stuff goes viral. So if you can provide really good information that your friends and family find very valuable, and you could even say in there, hey everybody, I've been hearing a lot of rumors about this one thing. I've been hearing a lot of rumors about quarantine. And, what are your rights if you're under quarantine? And, are you allowed to be out? Are you not allowed to be out? Can you get arrested? What happens if you're, if you're sick and you have to go to the hospital? What happens if you have to work? All these different things. So I want to give you some advice. As a criminal defense attorney, I want to tell you exactly what your rights are and what to do if these certain things happen. And by the way, please feel free to share this video with anyone else that you think would find it helpful. There's a lot of bad information out there, and I really want to get the record straight because I'm getting really frustrated seeing all this bad information. So basically, if you if you provide a video like that actually has value, then then people will share it. And do a couple of them. I mean, I'm not saying do them like machine gun, like right in a row, but do one video a day or 2 videos a day that provides value, that updates that talks about the current situation that's going on, because there's new developments every hour with this thing. So as new things are coming out, create content, create videos that relate it to to your actual practice area and answers the new problems and the new fears that people have. Or just kind of reinforces some of the answers that you said before. But basically, if you keep doing that and you keep telling people to share the video, saying, hey, listen, I just want to get this information out there so that people have real good information from an actual attorney, then people will start sharing it, especially if they find it valuable. Now, very important. At the end of the video, you do not want to say anything like, call me for a free consultation. You don't want to say anything like that. What you want to do is you want to appear to be helpful. I'm not saying appear to be helpful. I mean, you obviously want to be helpful, but basically what you want to do is you want to say, listen, if you guys have any questions about this, then shoot me a direct message or shoot me an email or give me a call or whatever, and I'll point you in the right direction. I'll help you out. I'll let you know, or I'll get you in touch with somebody who, if I can't help you, I'll get you in touch with somebody who can help you, right? So if you do this, if you follow this entire PSA marketing strategy, then what will happen is, and if you're consistent with it, if you do it like once or twice a day, every day for the next like 2 or 3 months, your name will go everywhere. I promise you, you will absolutely blow up. And what that means is that on the back end, you're going to have all this goodwill and all these people who need you. And now you've become, now they've seen your content, and there's nothing bad that is going to come from this. It's all going to be good. It's all going to be good news. But what I want you to understand is that this is something that you're going to have to do a couple times. If you do this one time and you don't get a client, don't be surprised. Expect this to take, a while. Expect this to be a project that you're going to be working on during this entire thing. And I promise you it will work. I promise you it will work. So basically, for Social Firestarter clients, every day at 4 o'clock Eastern, if you guys want to do this, even if you don't want to do this, you just want other advice on different things, I'm going to do a Zoom conference call with whoever wants to come on, and I'll bring you all on individually. We'll talk about specifically what are kind of some of your ideas, what ideas do you need help with, and I can help you out with it personally, because I want to see you guys do this, because I know it will work. I know it will work. There's no doubt in my mind. But the whole thing is you just want to create value. That is the most important thing that you can do right now, is provide value and help other people. Now, speaking of providing value, there's something else you can do. Let me go to another page here. All right. So a second thing you can do, and I've talked about this before, these PSA style videos, they're helpful to your friends and family. But the other thing you can do is that there's another media strategy that you can use that I think will be really helpful for you. And that's to get yourself on the local news, on the national news, in the newspaper, anywhere like that. And really what it comes down to is it's really the same strategy. So what you need to do, and what you can understand, is that basically these answers that you're providing, the answers to these questions that or these problems and fears that people have, you can probably spin these answers and send them to reporters as well. So what you need to do is you need to find local reporters or national reporters. So there's a couple ways you can do this. The first thing you need to do is go to your local ABC, NBC, CBS affiliates. ABC, NBC, CBS. I guess those are the main 3 ones. And go and look at who are the reporters that are writing the articles that are about who are the reporters that are writing the articles. And then what you want to do is you want to try to find their email address, and you want to try to find their Twitter handle. Now, you might not have a Twitter account, so you need to make a Twitter account. And basically what you can do is start sending them emails and tweets with helpful information. So if they write a story, figure out how you can contribute value to that story, right? So, so basically you want to contribute value, or you can suggest content, suggest things that they're not even thinking about. Now, the thing that you need to understand here is that you've got to be extremely valuable, and you've got to make their job as easy as possible, because everything's moving a million miles an hour right now. So if you can create content, give them story ideas that are going to be interesting stories, that is absolute gold. So basically what you can do is think about what are all the major things that people are worried about, what are all the fears that people have, and suggest these topics to reporters. And instead of just suggesting the topic, so like for example, let's say you're a personal injury attorney and you say, hey, reporter, I have an idea for one thing that's happening is all of these businesses are staying open, but nobody is thinking about the liability of these business owners. Let's say I go to a restaurant that remained open, and then I get sick from coronavirus. Is there, can that business owner be held liable, for keeping their business open and making all these people sick? Like, is there a potential, let's say I get sick and then I get my grandmother sick and my grandmother passes. Is there a potential for like a wrongful death lawsuit? Can they be held liable? Different things like that, and I don't know what the answer is to that, but if you create different pieces of content or give them different ideas that will make their lives valuable or make their lives easier, then what will happen is they'll start looking at you as a resource, and they'll start giving you free publicity. And then what you can start doing is you can start sharing that content. So what'll end up happening is, the process should be you find the reporters, you look at the stories that they're actually creating, right? And then you can add value to those stories. Now, only contact them about the specific stories when you can actually add value. And there's two ways you can do it. You can either email them or you can tweet at them, because Twitter is how a lot of reporters communicate, is Twitter. There's a really good website. It's called Muckrack. But it's kind of expensive. There might be a free 30-day trial or something that you can get that actually gives you the contact information. So like you can put in NBC Tampa, and it'll give you all the contact information of all the reporters and all the producers and everyone, and you can kind of really have a field day with that. But it's the same type of thing. Basically, what you want to do is you want to contribute and give them helpful information for their stories, and then suggest additional stories for them that maybe they aren't thinking about. But here's the other thing, is that don't just say, hey, it'd be really cool if you talked about this. What you need to do is you need to say, it'd be really cool that if you talked about this one thing, because it affects this many people, and here's a ton of information about it, and here's an entire video that I created, talking specifically about this subject. Feel free to use any of the information in there that you want. Now, if you do this, you're going to get a lot of free publicity, and it's going to help you out a lot, because first of all, you get a lot of free publicity. That's always good, because people are glued to the news right now, and if people keep seeing your face and your name over and over and over and over again on the news, that's great. Second thing is you can then take that information, you can then share it you can then take that information and you can share it on your own social media profile to supplement the stuff that you're sending out. And this is really going to establish you as an authority. Even to your friends and family, they're going to think, oh my God, not only is he creating all this good content, not only is she creating all this great content, but now she's also on the news. So I'm actually going to hold this information in higher regard, because obviously the news knows what they're talking about. And if they're on the news, then this person must be an authority figure, which people don't realize how easy it is to actually get on the news, but that's fine. So they're more likely to share your other stuff, right? The third thing is you can then take all those clips, you can throw them on social media, you can throw them on your website. It builds credibility. Like, there's really nothing bad about this scenario. It's all gravy. It's all gravy, as they say. So the other thing is that after this entire crisis is over, because it is going to end, then you're developing a relationship with all these different reporters who know that anytime they have a story that they need a comment for, they're not going to just go look for somebody. They're going to go, people take the path of least resistance. So you've been the one that's been helping them out. So what's going to happen is they are going to start coming to you, for questions and comments and interviews as certain things come. So you're basically setting yourself up for the future just because you provided a lot of value. So those are two things that I think that if you really kind of take advantage of those right now, let me switch back over here. If you really take advantage of those opportunities right now, and the fact that, first of all, nobody's going to do it because 99% of your competition is not doing any of this stuff, and these are the opportunities right now. You have the opportunity to do some stuff right now that your competitors are not doing. And honestly, my company's grown very, very fast, and we've been very successful. And the way that I've been able to be successful is by doing what other people aren't doing. That's really like the secret to my success is pretty much I look at what all my competitors are doing, and then I just do something different because I know, and I also, not only that, I do what they're not willing to do. And because of that, we're very, very successful. So if you use the PSA Style Marketing, it will really help really well. And then also, try to get on the news, try to develop these relationships with reporters. And we've had clients that have done this before, and it works really, really well. Now, again, like I said, please understand that this is going to take a couple tries. It's not going to happen after the first time. It's probably not going to happen after the second time. You've got to be consistent with it. But here's the good news about that, is that it is no harder for you than it's not harder for you than it is for your competition. Your competition thinks it's very difficult also. So if anybody from your competition is trying to do this, then they're going to do it once, they're going to do it maybe twice, and then they're going to quit. That happens all the time. And that's why, like with my videos, I create videos constantly, and that's really been like our company has grown like crazy just because of the fact that I create all these videos. But what's funny is that it took me a long time before these videos actually started getting content and started getting clients for me. It will not take that long for you because you're going in front of people that already know you. It's essentially a warm audience, as we say. So they're much more likely to listen to what you have to say and then share your content. So that's what I think. That's what I think. Really, every lawyer should be doing right now. But for our clients, we're going to send out an email every Thursday or every Thursday, every day at 4:00 for the foreseeable future, and we're going to do a Zoom session, a Zoom strategy session, where basically we, it's open office hours, and I'll help you execute any of these strategies, answer any questions that you have, and we'll just kind of go from there. But again, this thing will end. The most important thing that you can do right now is not panic and focus on what you can do right now. Focus on what you can control. Don't worry too much about what you can't control because there's nothing you can do about it, so there's no point in worrying. So if you have any questions, just let me know, and I will talk to everybody soon. Thanks.